All right, guys, ready to get into it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
let's
fantastic.
go.
Yes, I'm ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this awesome new series I'm putting together. I want to introduce the guests before we get into it. But just to give an introduction, I am Jaye, who a lot of you guys know already. And then right over here, we have Taylor, aka AKVMA. We have Nick,
Hello.
aka Unisoner. And we have NoaHHeim right below me. Guys, thank you so much for making time to be here. Let's jump right into it. The first question to start off with: if you could only listen to one single artist for 24 hours, what artist would you choose and why? Let's go to Akuma. You go first.
Okay. I would choose my friend Dr. Lobster. She's honestly put like no. I know I'm choosing like an underrated artist, but seriously, like you guys should check her out. She basically makes like really interesting music that has
Sorry.
it's okay.
Oh,
Has that is kind of never been heard. I've been listening to a lot of her future-based music. Well, I mean, it was like one song, but she's been making a lot of like new types of like rhythm/dubstep mixed music that I don't really hear anywhere else. And so like I would straight up just listen to like if she made like a ton of songs, that's all I would listen to because like it's so like the mix downs are perfect too.
That's so
that's
awesome.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. Well, it's really cool because I'm proud to hear that she's like not being afraid of doing different kinds of music, because I know that a lot of artists like struggle with that, feeling like locked
Yeah.
in like to one specific genre or whatever, and then you start limiting your creativity. Nick, how about for you? What artist would you choose?
I don't know. I will probably choose Tyler, the Creator, or Michael Jackson. We'll go for the big
Ooh.
ones this time.
Okay.
Yeah. I really love Tyler, especially his new album Igor, where he kinda explain maybe his relationship status and really make a story out of that, and I really loved it. So many great songs, and obviously Michael Jackson. What can I say about Michael Jackson? Everyone loves Michael Jackson for a reason. Yeah,
King of pop, right there. Yeah.
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 Noah, how about for you? What artist would you choose? One artist, 24 hours.
There's this guy called Nothing Nowhere. I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of him.
Yep.
We'll
Yeah,
check him
dude.
out.
He's put a lot of influence in my music. It's like a emo rap, except it's more alternative. It's like alternative hip hop kind of, but it's like super super sad boy. Like I yeah, I get a lot of
Okay.
influence from him. I seen him live a couple times, and I could play him on repeat all day. So it's got to be it.
Love that. Noah, give me a little bit more insight. You said he's really influenced your music. In what way exactly? In the terms of like the sounds he's creating, in terms of like the storytelling, what is it that has influenced your music specifically?
So definitely storytelling. He's kind of his like songwriting ability is one of the best I've heard. So he kind of gave me the confidence to talk about the darker side of things in EDM music, and so I've never heard that before.
Wow.
Like talking about mental health stuff, like how you feel at your lowest.
Yep.
And then also his guitars are unreal. I mean, the dude's a magician on guitar. I'm still trying to learn how to process them, but he's a god at that. And then also how he stacks his vocals. So he kind of has a style where he has like a lower octave, like panda one side, higher octave panda one side, and like a middle.
Sure.
In the like, so I don't know. He has crazy
like
vocals.
every
so
level then. So the technicalities, the storytelling, and everything.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard of him, like I definitely listen to him, because it's just like you feel every single emotion, you feel the whole entire story within the 2 minutes.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
I definitely take inspiration from that.
Yeah, I wanted to press back on that a little bit, because I noticed the same, like for you, Taylor, like you said how you loved the diversity of the sounds that Dr. Lobster was making. Then Nick, you talked about storytelling as well. I want to go to you first, Nick, because we're talking about storytelling. Do you aspire to have a lot of storytelling in your music as well? Because you mentioned the storytelling specifically for Tyler, the creator. So how has that influenced you, and like what are you trying to do with storytelling in your music as well?
Yeah, for sure. Well, storytelling is pretty important. Like I remember in a past interview, Porter Robinson even talking about that its real switch was between his, old stuff where he was just kind of flexing his, mixing muscle, his, knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and then with words, he just tried to, express himself. So just let the word know who he was. And I love that album because it's so unique. It's not the most particular sounding album in a technical way, but it's really unique and it's really Porter Robinson. And yeah, I'm starting to kind of realize that too, like having your persona in your music, like telling something you really want to tell, make everything way, way, way more enjoyable. Like it's fine to like flex, your dubstep muscles and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but but it's cool if you can put some storytelling, some emotions, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so add more
It's
depth and more substance to the music, basically. Actually, I want to ask you. I want to ask everybody this question, but let's go to you first, Taylor. I'm wondering how you guys explain your sound to yourself. How do you think about your sound whenever you're making music and putting music out? Taylor, you specifically talked about, like I said already with Dr. Lobster, the diversity of sound creation. Is that something that you want to do as well? Have a very diverse and unique sound, or how do you think about your own musical sound?
I mean I hope I can keep it diverse. I try to have like a specific theme, like like, oh, that's the sound I can latch onto. That's a or like that specific, I guess. Oh, what is it used? What's in classical music? It's motif, like a motif that like people can recognize. Okay, that's a Kuma song. That's a Unisoner song.
Mm-hmm.
Like that type of idea.
Sure.
And so I try to keep that consistency even across the different genres that I write. So it's very difficult, and I think I've kind of discovered something recently, which will hopefully be released soon.
Lucky. I hope so.
Oh,
Fingers
Me too.
crossed.
Hey,
Yeah.
The mix down on this thing was a nightmare, so whatever.
When is the mix down
Aren't they
not a
all though?
nightmare?
Really?
Exactly. Noah, how
Oh
about
my
for you?
god.
What about for your sound, Noah? How would you describe your music?
I try not to think of my music more as a sound, but more of a story. Um, Cause I like to produce many different things. Like I'm working on like I guess an EP that's more along the lines of two EDM songs and two indie alternative hip hop songs. So I don't necessarily want it to be one genre that I'm stuck to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Instead, I'm gonna try making a uh, a common factor of all of them, like a common denominator. So right now, I have like a specific pad that I kind of use in every single one of the songs, and to kind of keep it fluid, even though you're listening to three different genres of music, you kind of hear the similarities within
Mm-hmm.
all of them. So yeah.
Awesome. Which is very similar to what Taylor said about having a motif, no matter what the
Yeah,
genre
that
is,
one
it's able to
specific thing.
carry
They're
over.
like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Now, Nick, I know this is going to be kind of like personal for you as well because your sound has went through a massive change, from the earlier dubstep
Oh.
things you've done to nowadays you've got a totally different style. It's more organic, it's more authentic to who you are. Talk about your sound, Nick. How do you think about it to yourself? How do you describe your sound to yourself?
I don't know. So something.
you saw
Only
his
Who can
honest
head
describe
answer.
just
their own
computing
sound?
that.
Yeah.
Something that I hope it's at least decent. Yeah, usually right now I just try to, I don't know, like everyone kind of challenge yourself to do better, but most of the time I just want to create and then maybe put it in a really kind of pop format to really be easy to listen to and professional too, because yeah, it's important to have a professional sounding song. But I don't know. I'm just trying to do myself as
Mm-hmm.
good as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you've talked a lot about authenticity. I think we can all agree that authenticity is really huge for us in our personal lives and our music. But I do find this an interesting conversation because I know that for like all of us, we're trying to go big with our music. You guys are going like all the time, grind, grind, grind to make something of yourselves in your career. Do you feel like genre, like producing authentic music outside of genre has been a debilitator for you? Do you feel like it's been a drawback for you? Or do you feel like the more authentic you are with your sound, the more successful you've become? If that makes sense.
Ooh.
Mm.
Um, who wants to go
Well,
first?
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go to
Who
you
goes
first,
first?
actually, Taylor.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I think for a while I was stuck in this pro step phase, and I really kept like shooting myself in the foot, and I just did not know what I was doing. And I think like when I started like coming to terms with like a lot of the stuff that I really liked making but didn't know how to make, and I started really focusing on making like the heavier stuff that I make now, the tear out, and also the other melodic stuff that I've been doing, and kind of like driving the forces together. I think that kind of changed my view on writing music and like sound designing, and I was starting to be more authentic towards myself. I feel as an artist and a writer than I was just writing the same crap that I was writing for 2-3 years.
Well, it's so easy though to fall into that kind of path though. Once you know how to make a certain style of music, it becomes a habit sort of. You jump into your
Oh
job
God, yeah.
and you just start making it because you're like, I know how to do this. I'm doing it right now. It becomes a habit, and it's hard to break habits of any kind, but especially in music. Nick, go ahead. How about for yourself, in terms of sound and becoming successful?
Okay, so the question exactly is like um, how I see like making, authentic music
Hmm.
compared to maybe more
Versus making
generic.
some kind of formulaic sound like pop music or dubstep music or hip hop music, a certain genre that can be easily marketed. Has it been hard for you?
Like I don't know, it's just a different market. Like obviously, if you want to make something to maybe build a living very quickly and you have fun with it, it's the right way probably to make something a little bit more formulatic, more easy to listen to for everyone. But yeah, the thing to understand probably it's, there is no probably there shouldn't be hate for someone who choose to make generic stuff. At least, for me the important is just having fun. If you want to make something very unique, expressing yourself, it's really great. But if you just want to make music, it's not even that bad to just make something generic and go with it. So, back to the question, I think probably it can be more difficult at first, but I think that if you know how to move, probably it will be more beneficial in the long run if we want to see it on, a marketing side. But yeah, and at the end of the day, the important is having fun.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
for sure,
Yeah.
Nick. And I think, like you said, having fun and also like valuing your process, making something you enjoy. Because I feel like, honestly, if you're not being authentic with your art, like you can't keep up with it. Like
Mm.
if you're making music you hate making, like how long can you do that for? Even if you become successful, you're gonna start hiring ghost producers or whatever. So, I feel
I don't know
like,
though.
being authentic is so important, whether you're becoming a smash success or not, because you enjoy it, you value it. Um, do you guys see a certain style or genre of music? It could be style or genre, however you wanted to explain it, becoming more popular in this era right now. What genres do you think are going to explode and become more notable?
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going to look at it from two perspectives. I'm going to look at it from the general perspective and the EDM perspective, because I feel like the EDM perspective does drive the general like pop perspective
Mm-hmm.
in some aspects. I mean, we've seen how that works. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey Noah, rip internet. Yeah, we've seen how EDM has kind of driven the way pop music happens. Like
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
look back at like 2010, like we had that kind of like EDM big room
Mm-hmm.
influence on pop
Mm-hmm.
music, and then started like towards 2016 we started having a trap influence,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're kind of in this. I don't even know what to call it. Like what pop music is right now. It's so unique that like it's literally in a style of its own right now,
Yep, definitely.
Mm.
and and that's kind of due to EDM, I'd say. So if I look at it from EDM, I think like the most popular genre right now, the three most popular ones, in terms of dubstep, I can see that everyone's moving towards Terra right now
Mm-hmm.
because it's very rhythmically based,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't require a lot of sound design knowledge. It just requires a lot of like how do you arrange stuff in a certain way? How do you get a certain pattern? And how can you arrange it in such a way that people can quarter note dance to, you're basically just dancing to quarter notes at that point. But that's one side. I'd say the other side, trap is definitely changing, and it's kind of combining with future bass from what I've seen. um and those are kind of the two that are big in my opinion. That's what people are starting to move towards right now. In terms of pop, I think pop is still like it's doing the same thing that it's been doing for the past 5 to 6 months, I'd say. But it is starting to kind of move more in towards like a little more of a little heavier background.
Sure.
I'd say like more not heavier in that aspect, but it's becoming more like energy
Yeah.
influenced.
Focus. Got it. Well, it's interesting because like with the internet, we all have like access to all these different kinds of music. We can personalize our playlist and our entire world because of the internet. You know, so
Yeah.
it's hard to talk about like what genre is going to become the next big one because everybody lives in their own bubble now, and so it's different for every genre and subgenre of what's going to become more popular. Noah, if you want to jump in, what genres do you think are going to become more prevalent, more noticeable?
So what I've been noticing with future bass lately, which is mostly what I enjoy making, it's going a lot more low tempo. So instead of the like traditional like 150 trap hybrid stuff, it's dropping down to like 120 all the way down to 110. Nurko is becoming huge. Who as far as I know, was the one who kind of started that, but Dabbins hopped on it. Yetep, all those guys who have been known for their future based trap. And honestly, I think pop is even moving more into that direction, like more synth drops and whatnot. So I think there's going to be a lot more of that coming in the future. But
Dope.
Yeah.
Nick, do you want to add anything to the conversation, or you agree with what they said?
Well, yeah, kinda agree with what they're saying. Obviously, different genres, probably different futures.
Definitely.
I think probably, I don't know, for pop, I can see a future for, all the new, The Weeknd style, so really 80s influenced, or like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Doja Cat, etc. Or probably, I don't know, the Pop
True.
Malone, Drake, really melodic rap. I think it has, a pretty good future if it will develop in something, maybe a little bit more various. And, even minimalist like pop, like Billie Eilish, I think it can really, hit the way to the future.
Sure. Yeah. And it's so exciting. I think like I've always thought this was exciting. The fact that we are
Yeah.
music producers and we can kind of like create our own sound and maybe even be on the wave of what's coming next. Like we all have the ability to influence the future. It's such an exciting thought. Not in terms of influence the future, I want to look kind of the past now for you guys. And you've mentioned a little bit already. Have you guys changed your artistry at all? It could be your sound, it could be your style, it could be your approach. Has your artistry or your musicianship changed at all over the years? Let's go to Noah for this one first.
so I was just thinking about that because
Yeah.
I
Rapidly.
am relatively
I'd say
I'm relatively new to the music
Noah.
scene, like music producing, music making.
Sure.
I have been doing it for like just over a year, so I'm still trying out everything. So answer on that term.
Noah.
Last part chopped off.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
that was my internet. Okay.
No, yeah. No,
Okay.
What?
Okay, Noah, you're good until the very
Okay.
end. You said you're practicing a lot of different things, and so your answer is what?
Yeah, there's still a lot of changing and fluidity in what I'm making. Yeah, so I honestly have no idea where I'm gonna end up, but everything's constantly changing for me still.
I got it. Well, I mean, especially at the beginning of your music career, I think that it takes so much, experimentation to find something that really, represents
definitely.
you well. How about for you,
Yeah.
Taylor? How much has your artistry changed, whether it's image or sound or approach or whatever?
Oh gosh, for the past like near decade now,
Yeah.
I've completely changed several times, and I'm pretty sure in the last in the last few months since we've spoken in February,
Yep.
my sound has changed once again.
Yep.
And I think I finally stuck with something that kind of works. So, and I'm not just like trying to like discover, okay, what's the next thing I can do? What's the next big thing? And I'm not just kind of like, shooting myself in the foot, trying to find like what's the next big thing I can contribute to society or this community. And so now I'm kind of finding something that really means something to me, but is also meaning something to other people.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. No, it's so important. It's so important. I mean, like, I feel like having that kind of like value system, you know, it makes it more fulfilling. You know, you're doing something you enjoy and you're also helping other people. And like those coming together is like so purposeful. It's a beautiful thing. How about for you, Nick? How has your artistry changed?
I don't know, like I feel like my career did not even started yet. So I
I love it.
yeah,
Same.
Feel that.
yeah.
Feel that.
So it's pretty difficult probably to really explain, all the changes I went to, learning how to make music. But yeah, I think that with like any craft, you probably first do things to learn. Like when you learn how to draw in a certain style, you just, draw that to, get better and challenge yourself, etc. Now that I'm, a little bit more open, I guess, now that I know how things kind of work, at least the basics, I feel like I can do, pretty much everything I feel. So yeah, that's my shot.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's funny, right? Because I think that it's similar to someone who is trying to be a pilot. You know, you practice flying and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then after you graduate, then you become a full-time pilot, and you're like, oh, I've just begun. It's kind of similar with like music producers. You know, we go through so many whips and projects and styles and sounds, and then finally, like 5 years later, we're like, okay, it begins now. You know,
Yeah.
we're constantly being reborn and recreated. I want to throw back to what you said, Taylor, a second ago. You talked about like giving back to the community, and having a marriage between what you want to do and how you're helping other people. What would you say your ambition is for music? Is that like your ambition, or do you have something more than that?
Oh, I don't know. I really actually never thought about this
Sure.
until now. So this is like a super tough question.
Take a minute to think about it. Noah, have you thought about it? Nick, have you? Do you guys have a
Wait, did my
certain
internet cut out?
ambition?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then
Definitely
Taylor, hang on.
do.
Let's have Noah go first. Noah,
So-
what's your ambition?
So first of all, I want to make people cry. That's first up.
Let's go.
And then
Fair point.
Second of all, I kind of want to just I don't know exactly how to say this. I talked earlier on Nothing Nowhere how he talked about the things that a lot of people won't talk about, and some people don't listen to that type of music. So I figured if there was someone out there that is listening to EDM music instead, and they heard something that they they might not know is normal, or they might not know other people are feeling. If I can help even a little bit, help them digest what they're feeling, and just let them know they're not alone, I would absolutely love that.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, it's really cool. Nick, how about for you?
I don't know how much do I have, to be honest.
As much as you're comfortable.
Okay, so let's go full honest.
Let's go.
I don't know. I probably have a too big ambition. I just want to be the best, man. I just want to poop on the head of everyone else. You know, that kind of best. No. Like I'm joking. I'm
Go
joking.
get it, man. Go get it.
No. Like, yeah, honestly, there is the ambition of, constantly getting better and get, at the level you want. But I don't know. I really just want to live with music. I just really want to live, making the world discover myself, just expressing myself, just, be able to do that thing for a living. It will be, perfect.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think your ambition has changed very much over the years, Nick. I remember the first time I talked with you for the podcast, and you talked about making a different world with every single song. So It's
Yeah.
kind of similar with what you're talking about right now, which is expressing yourself and building your own world. Taylor, if you're there, what is your ambition with your music?
What is my ambition?
Yeah, so what's your ambition?
I just honestly I want to make people happy with what I do, and like I still feel like I'm not getting the right product. I mean, I keep kind of like I'm being a little too hard on myself, which is like not good, but like I do want to make people happy with no matter what style of music I make, and eventually like I think there's like one song in my life that I will make that will eventually make me happy. Eventually, I want to make everyone 100% happy, like 100% of people 100% happy. I know that will never be fully fulfilled, but I feel like I can get halfway eventually.
Yeah, kind of like
I mean,
shoot
your
for the
songs-
moon, hit the stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
your songs make me want to like throw a brick through a wall right now. That makes-
And Noah, that might be a good idea in certain situations.
Oh yeah, that makes me happy. That definitely makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. One thing I
Yeah.
want to touch on real quick though is about vocals and music. I'm curious for you guys because I know that Nick and Noah, you guys both talked about storytelling being so important to you, and obviously Taylor, you can weigh in as well. But how important do you think having vocals in a song are?
Oh, important.
Important.
I think they're really important, but some people are talented enough to not have vocals and portray the same type of message. But for me, especially knowing that I'm only just like a year in, I think that songwriting, storytelling for me is definitely putting vocals down. It's a vent track, and I know some people have reached out to me like, hey, like that resonated with me. And so I think just letting the brain put words onto paper, put it into the microphone is really important for people to relate to.
Awesome.
So
I love that, Noah. And Noah, just to make sure, you sing on your own tracks, right? Or do you have other
Yep.
vocalists jump on? Okay. Yeah. Very good.
yeah.
Taylor, obviously, I want to hear your opinion because your music already makes us want to throw bricks at walls, but
Bricks
with
at
no
walls,
vocals. But what?
That's such a unique answer too. Thank you,
Yeah.
Noah.
Yeah, sis,
No,
what do you
because
think about?
I do have some songs that have vocals on them. Some of them are me singing on it, and vocal processing nightmare. But writing vocals is so fun, and I feel like I do want to release more songs at some point with vocals on it because having something that people can latch onto, because like no one's gonna fucking like sing dubstep. Like I mean I've seen people do it. I've seen people do it at crowds like where they'll like sing like the main like line and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like if anyone can latch onto like a lyric or like a melody that's humanistic and comes from a human, it brings people together more. And I feel like that's still what people want, is more humanistic qualities in music. So I do want to eventually push more vocals on my music at some point.
How interesting. It'll be cool to see how you do that, whether you put vocals with the really heavy stuff or if you kind of do more melodic stuff with vocals, but I'm excited to see how that works out for you. Nick, how about for
definitely
you?
think there's
Yo, go ahead, Noah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think there's a lot of room for vocals with like the dubstep, especially if like you do want to portray that emotion of like anger,
Sure.
like you just get it all out. But yeah, that was my quick
Yeah.
little take
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
absolutely. I mean, we've seen already some artists who have been able to mix dubstep and heavy metal together in different ways, So I've seen like Five Finger Death Punch dubstep remixes and things like that. That sounds completely dope. So it's definitely
The
possible.
day to remember.
Yeah. Nick, how about for you? From the early days, I think you used to use like vocal packs, and these days you sing on your own tracks. So weigh in.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it really depends on where you want to go because obviously, emotion can obviously be described by just instruments, and that's probably, even a better way to describe something, just let you feel that. But yeah, sometimes if you have to put out words and not only the music, it's really helpful to have a voice behind. Yeah, in my case, I didn't had a great voice. I just had to fucking grin for it. But yeah, I guess everyone has to do it, even who, start with a pretty good vocal.
Nick, come on, you're good
True.
at singing.
I
Nah.
felt that. I felt that.
Did you?
But you are really good at singing though. Like honestly, I look up to you.
Wow.
Oh,
Both
thank
of
you.
you. I look up to all of you.
The feeling is mutual between all of us, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
let's talk about that, Nick, because I know that you kind of lack a little bit of confidence in your voice, not saying it in a negative way. Noah, was it uncomfortable for you to sing on your tracks as well, or were you like comfortable with your voice?
No, absolutely not. Even though like I know that I can sing, and yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to explain because I mean I get nervous when I step in front of a microphone. So I have some
God.
songs where I have recorded myself over 70 times just because I'm like, oh, don't like that, don't like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very particular. Yeah, very particular in that, but it's for me, it's still not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taylor,
I felt that, dude.
Yeah, I saw you over there, like you were like the
Yeah.
like, nervous in front of a mic. What's your experience? Share it.
I'll have to send you the song afterwards so I can tell you what I mean. But I was recording this. It's a collab with
Let's
Manser, and
Okay.
I'm actually really excited about this one because like I literally like love this one so much. Like shout out Manser, and it's honestly like when I was recording the vocals, I was like, oh my god, there's so many things off with my voice. I just my voice tonality I feel doesn't fit in most music, and it's just so unique that like that's why I don't like it. It's because it doesn't fit. Also because like I mean I deal with voice problems on a daily basis anyways, so having to hear my own voice on a song is already kind of like unsettling. So
An uncomfortable reminder that I have a
Yeah.
voice and I'm using it.
No, yeah.
And people
Yeah,
are hearing
and-
this.
yeah. Well, I mean there's other reasons, but I'd rather
Sure.
not get into them here. But like yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like wow, like what am I like I don't know. It's difficult, and so having to record multiple takes and like having to kind of like shoot myself in the foot multiple times recording myself like vocals is just a painful reminder of why I'm a musician.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely relatable. But it's funny because something I've noticed in life is that like we all have insecurity. We all have insecurities, like so many insecurities. And like the only way we're able to grow past the insecurities is whenever we put them on display and like face them, you know?
Oh god.
You know, and like in music, like our insecurities are constantly on display. We make imperfect music that we want to be perfect. We sing imperfect songs that we want to sound perfect. How do you guys deal with like having to work on your own insecurities, having to face your own insecurities, whether it's in the level of your production or whether it is like the way your voice sounds? How do you guys deal with that? How do you face it? Nick, let's go to you
So-
first for this one.
Okay. I don't care, man. Like my goal is just to get there. Like obviously, like
We got like Nick is like the Mike Tyson of like singing over here. He's like, I want to be
Yeah.
the best. I'm gonna kill everybody.
exactly. Like yeah. Obviously, I have insecurities, but as long as my objective is still the same, I will just fucking destroy them. I will
Yeah.
just go on.
Yep.
Can I have
Has-
some of your confidence?
Nick, has there been a time when you completely lost confidence though because of your insecurities? Has there been a moment like that?
Yeah, like every day. But the thing is, you know, what's really, define people, I guess,
Yeah.
is
This is the balance of a music
accept.
producer.
Yeah,
Massive
it's
confidence
like
and massive insecurity.
yeah, exactly. But it just you can accept the fail and
Yeah.
your insecurity, or go on and build something. Like we fail every day, but it's a fail just when you stop. So I just never fucking stop.
Yep. I
Yay.
love that. Nick, it's so true. I mean, it's absolutely true. The only, like you said, like, unless you're facing your insecurities, you're not overcoming them. And so they're still going to be there with you. You have to put them on display. You have to face them. You have to embrace them and able to move past them. Noah, go ahead and
Yeah.
jump in with your experience.
So honestly, my voice was one of my biggest insecurities. Like I'm like, that's not for me anymore. But then, I don't know. It was just kind of a sign. Like I was just working on my Instagram page, whatnot, and like with some of the followers, I just had some artists reach out and be like, hey, you want to put vocals on my track? and like that's what happened with my last song, and now we're on fucking Trap Nation. So like
Ooh.
I don't know. So it was like, all right, you think you suck, but in reality, like for some people, it's interesting. Like you see your insecurities like day in day out, but people don't see them the same way as you, and that's something that everybody forgets. And so
Exactly.
yeah,
Love
that's definitely my take on
Yeah.
insecurity.
Well, also Noah, like you talked about before, like in your music, you said I think you implied that you like to talk about your insecurity and talk about the hardships and everything. So,
Yeah.
kind of the strategy I see you using is that you're using your insecurities as your strength. You're putting them on
Yeah.
display so other people can relate to it and you can build people up. So it's a super.
Yeah.
I respect that so much, man. I love that absolutely.
Thanks,
Taylor,
bro.
how about for you? I don't know if you want to jump on the subject or not. Like, how do you deal with insecurity?
My biggest insecurity
Sure.
is expectations.
Okay. Yeah.
I have such high self expectations, like unnecessarily high, and then for everyone else, I have like no expectations.
Feel
Like
that.
literally, like
Yep,
I don't
yep,
like
yep.
if I was dating someone, I don't care if they show up a day late.
Yep.
Like that's
Yep.
like literally how much I don't care. But
Yep.
for me, if I'm like a second like late to something, that's the end of the world for me. Like I don't know why I do this to myself,
Yep.
but like yeah, it's the same for my music too. Like I expect my shit to be really good, like really top of the level. And when I hear it in real life, I don't hear that because I hear something different in my head, of course. And a lot of people can attest to this. My parents can attest to this. My other friends can attest to this. Like I have obnoxiously high expectations for myself, and I don't know. Maybe that's what pushes me forward. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. But I don't know. I just try to keep pushing forward, and I try not to let my expectations get to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks for the honesty, Taylor. I mean, I think that we all relate to that because, like you said, in some sense, that's kind of what pushes us forward is having those expectations. We have a certain goal or level that we want to achieve, and so we push ourselves to achieve it, even if we don't achieve it. You know, and because we always have it there, no matter how many times we fail, we keep getting up to keep doing it. I think
Yeah.
someone like I kind of want to give a shout out. I feel like Porter Robinson's someone who's kind of shown this a lot, like through his music and his life story as well. You know, like his honesty about not liking his music or wanting to be more authentic. You know, and struggling with writer's block, etc., etc. So I know it's a common thread amongst all producers in the game. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's jump to one more topic. It's a little bit serious, but what changes do you guys want to see happen in the online music scene? Obviously, you know, most of us are like all internet producers. You know, we're in the community a lot. And what kind of I know there's so much going on, especially in the online music scene. Every day on Twitter, Instagram, you can see a bunch of stuff going on. For you guys, what changes do you guys want to see happen?
Who wants to go first?
Everyone's getting like their righteous anger ready.
Yeah.
Noah, let's go to you first, man. What do you think, Noah?
So this took me a while when I first read the question. I was like, man, I don't know, but I would love to see like a platform like TikTok. You know, they're making stupid money. And so I would love to see something like that just show more support to the artists that their music is getting used. Maybe pay them like 1/10 of a cent for every like, you know, like literally something
I feel you, man.
super small like that. And I don't know, I would just love to see more social media platforms supporting what artists are doing, especially in times like this where everything is moving online.
Yep.
Because I mean, it's not like you can just buy concert tickets anymore.
Yeah.
So I would really love to see some way for social media platforms to be supporting like artists in different ways.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Yeah, there was that tweet recently by Doomu. He was talking about, I guess that Spotify. Do you remember the tweet exactly, Noah? I forgot some of the wording.
Yeah, so because I know Spotify has just signed. What's that guy's podcast?
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe. So they just exclusively signed him and Call Her Daddy, I believe.
Okay.
And their stock price has shot up like 200%.
Yep.
And so Doomu had quoted that and be like, pay me more than
Yeah, I got the numbers right here.
per
Actually, it says
stream.
Spotify passes 50 billion market cap for the first time. It's also the first
Yeah.
European tech company founded this century to pass the milestone. So yeah, Duma was like, pay me more than 0.0039 cents per stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally understand the emotions there, Noah, for sure. Like it feels like music producers kind of get like the raw end of the deal, especially people like us who do completely everything on our tracks, from the production,
Yep.
sound design, the mixing, the mastering, the marketing. And we're getting paid less than a penny for every stream, so it definitely seems
Yeah.
unfair. Taylor, let's jump to you next.
Yeah, I mean, to continue off of that, there's definitely like some like black and white territory where it's just like you're either like a hardworking artist and you get paid nothing, or you're like barely working, you have a team doing everything for you, and you're making millions. Like that's kind of what society's been defined right now. But hopefully, the line will start to get blurred eventually. But yeah, like there are several things. I think one, we got to get rid of all the old people that are kind of like messing up right now in the industry. I mean, if you look at Twitter right now, there are so many people messing up.
Every day, man. Every day.
And I think like, and like, to be honest, like it's the people that are getting kind of like called out, that they don't make good music anyways, in my opinion. So like we're kind of just getting rid of bad music anyways. So like
weeding it out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, sis. Like how many times it's happened. It's unbelievable the amount of times it's been going on, and only now, like 5, 6, 7 years later, the stories are getting revealed. It's
because of the internet.
Yeah.
The internet is now a free platform to express your opinion. Before, like not pre-internet, but like pre-social media, like there was not really a place to do it. Yeah, there's Blogspot, I guess, or like there was like your personal blog, but like no one was going to go there. Now we have these major social media platforms where now everyone can hear your ideas and everyone can hear your opinions.
Yeah.
And so now it gets spread a lot easier. And so
stuff is documented more. Like there's more documentation for where someone was, or other people to corroborate the story, and give proof and everything as well, which is a really
and
good
then
thing.
people can historically look back on that, do like a full like body analysis and say like, literally.
Yeah.
And so that's also a problem too. So it's a double-edged sword in that aspect. Like, yes, people are doing the right thing. They're expressing what's wrong, but it's also a double-edged sword because now that also damages the community. So you have that aspect. And so I think, like,
real quick, Taylor, if you could expound on that a little bit more, how does it damage the community, just to verify?
Because it splits people. It literally, like, I mean, if you look at it like now, like, yeah, it's gonna split people. You're gonna have the loyal fan base, and you're gonna have the people that are not anymore, and that splits people apart. And the idea of what social media was supposed to be is to unite people together, not separate people. And so that's the problem. That's why it's a double-edged sword, is because now, when there's a problem, now people's opinions are so different and separated that we literally start to separate as people. And that's been a problem for the past 5 years. I'd say 6 years, maybe. And we're definitely working on it as a society, and we're definitely going to grow from this. And another thing, this is kind of going off topic here, but like to the idea of like everything's moving online.
Sure.
I had this like theory. It was more of like a prediction about a year and a half ago. Like, I bet you anything, online festivals are going to be a thing, and they're going to be big, and it's going to happen a year from now. I didn't know it was going to happen like this, but it happened.
Yeah.
It was definitely going to be better than this. I felt like there was a better marketing strategy, but because we all as a society got thrown into it, we're kind of all just figuring it out. But I feel like a year ago, if I had gone ahead with my original plan to do a virtual festival like a year ago, I probably would have done better than 99% of the people that are out there right now.
Man, how many times has that happened, though? Whenever you have this genius idea and like, you put it off until later, and then you're like, I missed my chance.
Fuck, the market moved that area. Dang it.
Yeah.
Well, it happens. So the best thing you can do is just move on and do something with what you have.
Yeah, live and learn for sure. Nick, let's jump to you. What changes do you want to see happen in the music scene, especially the online music scene?
I don't know. I have a really different opinion, so I don't want to really get on to
Get a little bit
big
diverse.
discussion.
Okay, bring it up, man. Let's go. Go ahead.
just take it, not as an insult, etc. And I'm not talking about the coronavirus stuff, more
Sure.
about, the online market,
Mhm.
etc. People have to stop fucking complaining. Like we are
Hmm.
like we are talking about one of the biggest industry in the world, and everyone is complaining because they are not paid enough, blah blah blah. If you
Mhm.
really want to make money with music, it's so fucking easy. Like you can make hundred of things.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you want to build your own career where everything is around you, then you have to work your ass off. But it's like that in every single work.
Mhm.
So please
Hmm.
don't tell me, oh, Spotify invested in thought billions in this huge name. Yeah, because it's a huge name. Do you want those money? Fucking work for them. You know, that's kind of the point. Like
Yeah.
Damn.
everyone wants everything, on a silver plate, like
Yeah.
everything ready. Oh, I make great music, give me my millions. No, 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 no. That's just the start. You have
Mhm.
to grind. You can't pretend everything comes just because you know how to make a sick beat.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the problem. It's a market. It's a market like any other market, and you have to grind your ass off. So just stop complaining, create good music,
Mhm.
and go out there, do something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying,
Okay.
Nick. I think there's kind of two ways to take the conversation. I think, like, on one side, you're absolutely right. We can't complain. That's wasting time, and we can't feel entitled to something that we haven't worked for as well. And obviously, there is a lot of people who complain and feel entitled to have stuff, that they haven't earned yet. And like you said, also, it is a market. The audience gets to decide what's hot and what's not, regardless of how you feel about it. The audience gets to decide that. I think on the other side, though, like, there needs to be equality and fairness, in terms of like business and how stuff is split and how stuff is shared. I think that's more the issue that people are focusing on. Noah, do you want to jump in and add something to that?
Yeah, so I think well the reason that I'm upset, I don't
Sure.
necessarily mind not being paid that much
Mm-hmm.
because I mean I don't get a lot of streams. But I think the reason that a lot of people are upset is just because of like the corruption that Spotify has been like accused of,
Okay.
like keeping the money within themselves. Like I know they've been accused of, because I mean Spotify is owned by a bunch of record labels,
Mm-hmm.
and so naturally they're gonna want to keep the money inside themselves. So they've been accused of like buying streams in some random country on their artist's music,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting a higher return of investment on that. So I think that's why a lot more people are upset.
Okay.
I
Sure.
understand like the fact that I'm getting 3/10 of a cent per stream, but like for people, because EDM is very different than the pop industry, because
Mm-hmm.
we have one song labels where you just release a single song, single EP. Pop doesn't necessarily work like that. So
The album.
there's just a very, very big split in the music industry, just in genres.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I will much prefer to have people that understand that it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
No,
can't
no,
base your own.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, you
Yeah.
can base your own career on Spotify. Spotify is,
Oh yeah.
is a company, is
Mm-hmm.
a company of
Hmm.
someone else. They have their own politics, but no one says that you cannot, search for other way. Like you need money, well, make some beats, mix songs of someone, like
Yeah.
get something working. The thing is, in my opinion, you can absolutely doing it. Sorry, my English is just dying
You're good.
slowly.
You're good.
I
Take your
felt
time.
But
that.
yeah, rewinding, like you can absolutely, you know, get big, etc. You just have to understand how the market works. And, even, you can't just base your career off YouTube, of TikTok, of
Sure.
Instagram. If you really want to get there and you don't really want just to complain and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
just find a way around, find a way to make money
Mm-hmm.
that then you can reinvest in your own career, that then you can start to doing lives and really get, we are in a really really lucky era, in my opinion, where there is no filter between the musician and who listen to. So really just complaining about, oh, this company doesn't pay me enough, it will not make you famous anyway, and probably, it will not even give you enough money to live off of that. So if you really want to make this seriously, just search a way to make money and then reinvest them and then get a proper career and just,
Yeah.
uh, just depend on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
stereotypical by now, but you definitely have to have multiple streams of income if you want to make it as a music producer. Some of it's music, some
Yeah.
of it's like other stuff as well that you do, whether it's a live stream or
Mm-hmm.
Twitch streaming or donations from fans for sure. But I think
Yeah.
the hard thing for independent producers is finding the best way to manage their time. Because obviously if you're trying to do, well, for me personally, like trying to do a podcast, trying to do music, trying to do social media marketing, trying to do a secret project I'm working on a fashion line. I have so many different projects I got my hands in with like 4 or 5 hours of free time a day. It's almost impossible for me to, make big progress on all these stuff I have going on. I have to accept that it's going to be a very slow process. How about for you guys,
Yeah.
managing time?
Oh,
Taylor, go ahead. Let's jump to you.
well, actually, I was gonna add something, but before that,
Sure.
one thing I've learned that has helped me is I don't even bother uploading to Spotify or Apple Music anymore.
Really?
Just because of the whole income thing. Like, but here's the real big thing why I don't upload to Spotify is because the community is not there. You can't really build a community off of Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that like that meme, that joke where like SoundCloud reposts and like there's just a bunch of people reposting music.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I have 1,000 followers today is because of SoundCloud reposts. I've literally been living off of Repost Network, and that has literally helped like foster my career as it is. And I used to joke about it a lot, but now I kind of have to take it seriously because that's where my community is coming from, is SoundCloud now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's weird. But yeah, in terms of time management, you said?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about that for a minute because it is really interesting. You're absolutely right. Like Spotify does not have a community, and you can't build a community on there. However, on the flip side, like, don't you feel that Spotify and Apple Music are like the top tiers in terms of like music streaming?
They're definitely up there. They definitely made a big name for themselves as like, we are the highest quality streaming platform.
So
I
that
mean,
being said,
give or
do you
take.
think it's a good idea to invest in them because at some point, 3-5 years in the future, they'll have a community section, or?
I don't know. Like they haven't made any strides or they haven't made any like moves to build a community. It's just been like they have that friends section on the side, like on Spotify, that like tells you which friends are listening to music, but they don't tell. Yeah, but like there's no comment section, there's no like section, there's no like profile pages that or like the ones that I can find at least,
Right.
and it's not as intuitive for me as like the lay user.
I'm curious for all of us here, actually. Sorry to cut you off, Taylor. Do you guys want to see that? Do you want to see like a community section on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming site you use?
Oh, yeah.
For? Okay.
I would love to. I think moderating that would be, but I would love to see a community section because that has engaged. If you can have engagement and you can see what people like instead of just like going to like the 5 different communities like Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and seeing what people like there. I feel like if you just consolidate it down to Spotify or Apple Music, you have the community there. People can comment there directly on your music rather than just like opinionating on other sources.
Noah, how about for you? Would you like to see a community section like on Spotify or Apple Music?
Oh no, I definitely would. And kind of going back to what I said earlier is I would love for like a platform like Instagram to maybe step in and be like, hey, like we can kind of help like build this community section with you. So it kind of goes from both, but in both of the, I mean, let's be real, Apple Music cares about money.
Taylor,
So
stop
I
laughing.
but for Spotify,
Yeah.
Noah,
Noah,
great. Your internet made your answer so
It's
much
killing
better.
your answer. It's a great response, but yeah, the way it started vibrating was too much.
Exactly.
It sounded so drunk or stoned.
No, I'm so sorry. Your voice got really robotic and slowed down, so
Yeah.
you started laughing. But you're absolutely right. Like, for a long time, people have pointed out that there is no platform other than SoundCloud that's like dedicated to music that people can like find and interact with music in the same way you can do pictures or videos on Instagram, videos on TikTok. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Nick, how about for you? Would you like to see that like more of a community section on Spotify or Apple Music, or do you think that's totally useless?
It, Well, it will be pretty cool, honestly. It really depends if they find it, if they find they could, probably make people engage enough to spend more time on their website, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it will be really helpful for musicians. I still think that the best way, if you want to really be an online musician and just have one main website, YouTube is still the best one for me, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because have a visual representation of something really helps. Like it can sound dumb, but I have heard like a lot of pretty meh music, but with really really great videos and not from big names, from normal names, getting a lot of traction because if you can't really represent something you can hear on video, you can get a really really cool package for who is watching and hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, YouTube is still the best one if you really want to portray your project and to engage, because if a video is really cool and the music is just okay, probably a lot of people will just share it, just saying, "Oh, this video is so fucking cool," or "Watch this effect," or things like those.
Mm-hmm.
On SoundCloud, you can have that, but not at the same size of YouTube, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Obviously, yeah, it's just an opinion.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. You're absolutely right. I mean, like music channels have been huge on YouTube for a long time. It's still such a powerful platform for both music and videos and community. It combines all three of them. All right, guys, kind of moving into the ending of this episode. I asked a few questions from my audience on Instagram. I asked them, any
Ooh.
questions for music producers, and this is what they came up with. First question comes from a friend of mine named Azra, who creates future funk music primarily, and he asked, "What inspires you the most when making tracks? And what got you into the genre in the first place?" So let's go to Noah first. Noah, what inspires you the most when you're making tracks, and how did you get into the kind of music you're into?
Definitely, I write the best music when I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
Felt
that's
that.
a topic that I stick around. So sometimes I'll just it's honestly hard for me to start a song sometimes, and then I'll get super sad laying in bed, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's a chord progression, and then yeah, so that's how yeah.
Fuck.
Depression's the best inspiration.
Awesome.
Um,
Love
but
that.
then I I take a lot of inspiration from Nurko too. He's
Mm-hmm.
like that lower tempo future bass artist, and so that's a person that inspires me a lot as well. So
Fantastic. Nick, how about for you? What inspires you the most whenever making tracks?
When I have something strong to say, and Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Always.
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 Yo.
Taylor, how about for you?
I don't know. I try to be as like atonal as possible because I'm like cursed with absolute pitch, so writing melodies is a pain because like I'm kind of cursed with that. Like, so I always try to come up with a rhythm and like a feeling to like when I write music, or like my style of music. So I try to come up with more of a rhythm and a theme. And I think what really like wait, what was the question again? Sorry, I'm like blanking right now.
What inspires you the most when making a song?
Oh,
Bruh,
I didn't
bruh.
sleep last night, so
You're totally good.
what inspires me? Just sound designing, I'd say. Like it's a pain, but it's fun at the same time.
How
mm-hmm.
interesting. Can spark the idea. Okay, very good. One more from Azra. What do you like the most about your music? Or about the kind of music that you make? You guys can answer it either way if you want to. What do you like the most about your music, or what do you like the most about the music that you create? Let's go to Nick
Y'all
first.
go
Nick.
first. Yeah.
Okay. I guess that now I can, I don't know, express everything I feel and really try to, convey that on percussion, music, and everything, kind of inspired by Tyler, the Creator, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So probably you know, the thing that I understood how to express myself in music and with lyrics.
Beautiful. I love that. Noah, how about for you?
I think I like my songwriting ability the best. Just the lyrics that I can put out. I definitely say that's probably my best quality as an artist.
Awesome. The personal self-expression. Very cool.
Mhm.
Taylor, how about for you?
Yeah, themes and arrangement I think are really important. I'd say sound design is also really important in dubstep, but like, cause like that's what makes it unique rather than just like a unique melody. But sound design and arrangement is actually really important now because I think everyone kind of got the sound design aspect down. Now it's kind of the arrangement part.
Yep, very good. All right, guys, and one last question is from Katzin. Katzin said, "What is your favorite plugin?"
Oh
Taylor,
man.
you're talking about sound design. Come on.
Oh
What's
man.
your favorite one to sound design?
Let's see. Right now it's phase plant because it's super modular, but I use FM8 on a daily basis.
Okay, very good. Noah, how about for you?
I use Decimort a lot.
Mhm.
It's like
Ooh.
it's a nice little bit crusher, like a high quality bit crusher that San Holo uses a lot on his designs. That's where I found it, but it's a nice little tanginess in the sound
I'm
design.
gonna check that out.
Spicy. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Nick, how
nice.
about for you?
Keyscape, because I really like the pianos. Yeah, Keyscape.
Yep.
Shout out Spectronics.
That's right. All right,
Spectre's
guys,
on it.
very good. The final question I have for all of us to wrap it up. Name one artist you want to collaborate with and explain why you want to collaborate with them. You guys can take a minute to think about it, but one artist you want to collaborate.
I already
and the
knew.
reason. Oh, Taylor knows already. Well, go ahead, sis. What
I already
who do you want
knew.
to collab with?
I want to collaborate with Skrillex.
Really?
Ooh, finals. Yeah, because honestly, like that was like he was like pretty much like the first artist that like introduced me to like the music that I listen to now.
Yep.
And I love the way he's grown as a producer. And I've been listening to like Face My Fears on repeat, like for the past week.
Yep.
And it hit me emotionally too. Like one night I was just listening to it and like the drop hit and I legit started crying just for no reason. I was just like, what?
Let's
And
go.
I want to work with him because like he's so unique in that aspect that like he legit like hit my emotions.
That's beautiful.
And
Love
he also sounds like a fun person to be with. So.
that. Yeah, no denying that. Nick, let's go to you next.
Well, I will go for Skrillex too because I started music thanks to Skrillex.
Right.
But probably my second will be Tyler. Yeah, Tyler the Creator for sure.
How
Oh,
long
yeah.
have you been on Tyler's train, though, Nick? Has it only been recent, or have you been on like listening to Tyler for a
Yeah,
long time?
only recently, but
Okay.
man, that I love his mind, honestly. I love how he
absolutely.
creates, how he convey emotions. So it will be really interesting.
He's so unique and creative, and he's so free whenever he talks or whenever he makes music. So I definitely respect him as well.
Yeah.
Noah, how about for you? If
I'd
you
have
say
to
Skrillex, get out.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to say Eden.
Oh, okay.
Eden.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get a lot of comments saying that I sound like him. I don't know if I hear it, but
Sure.
I think our voices would go well together, and I've been listening to him for probably 8 years now,
Yeah.
and he's one of the people that got me into music. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
fantastic. Love it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here today. That was an incredible conversation. I loved all of your opinions. Thanks for sharing it so openly. AKVMA, Unisoner, Noah, thank you guys so much. And to the audience watching, take care. Have a great night.
Thanks for having me.
Peace, everyone.
That's a wrap, guys. That's a wrap.
Hey.